This podcast is kindly supported by our friends at Acre Pharmacy, one of the key aesthetic pharmacies leading the way in responsible supply.
So, we've been obviously the Nurses Network for a long time, and we've always repeated the same thing. We're not only for nurses. So to really represent that and move forward with kind of like a rebrand into an evolution. I like that. I love that. So the evolution of the Nurses Network is now TNN because we are representing everybody.
Yeah.
So everybody within the aesthetics field, no matter what your discipline is, as long as it's a medical background. So we have got ambassadors. So I think it's just really, really exciting. It's a new phase within the TNN membership. Obviously, we've got the app and just kind of bringing together that real community and inclusive feel. And we've got some absolutely incredible ambassadors, which is really, really exciting.
But it just made sense, doesn't it? We were saying this earlier on, like in any other business, everyone communicates. It's all about collaboration. We throw that statement around all the time, going, collaboration is key, community is key.
MDT.
MDT. But then when it comes to community, we go, but we're only going to network with other nurses. And I think it's important because we all reflected on who we speak to. If we get a complication or if we come across a barrier, I know if I want to brainstorm something, I might message one of you, or I might message Olivia, doctor surgeon background, I might message Amy, who's a dentist, or I might message Gillian Murray, who's a pharmacist. We message our friends and colleagues, but the fact that they're a nurse or the same discipline doesn't come into it.
No.
So we kind of just were like, what are we doing? We need to be a completely inclusive community so everyone can learn from their MDT.
And I think it's important to mention, we didn't start the Nurses Network to exclude anyone.
No.
We didn't ever imagine of having this app and how we would expand so quickly. So when we started, we were just doing podcasts and networking. And because we're nurses, we called it the Nurses Network.
Yeah.
But we hadn't envisioned that we would grow this big and have this community. So in hindsight, maybe we should have chosen a more inclusive name, but we just didn't really realize it. So we've always been inclusive. We've never excluded anybody, but we're going to rebrand to make it feel more inclusive. So instead of, people having to say, I'm a member of the Nurses Network, but I'm a pharmacist, it will just be TNN moving forward.
Yeah. I think nurses do make up a big proportion of aesthetics. We're a massive, massive discipline. So I think, there's representation within our app, of course, for nurses. But I think it's just really, really important and highlights, like you said, anyone can be or have the same experience of the industry and recognizing that, they're all on their journey. It doesn't matter where they came from in terms of, their old role within a hospital.
We can learn from each other. All of us can learn from each other. And that last event that we did, the May event in 25 was just our best event yet. And if you looked at that event, it was the biggest mix that we've ever had. And it was just so nice to have everyone in a room and having fun, and the conversations were just flowing all day. The energy was high, and it was just a really great event, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And now we've got the ambassadors, like you say, we've got the ambassadors. And if you want to know more about our ambassadors, we've mentioned them on socials, and we're going to we've got the regional lead section on the website, but we'll also have a section for the ambassadors as well. So if you don't know who they are, engage with them. If you are a pharmacist and you want to know more, you can contact Mo, or you can message us. We wanted to make sure people kind of have that point of call, really, so they feel represented, I suppose is the word.
Until they see how much of a community we are, and there is no kind of boundaries on the app. We're all one big team.
Absolutely. So I think that kind of draws us into what's next. We've kind of had this big evolution, and I think we've, like Grace has said, we've had a rebrand, or I think we should refer to it as the evolution, TNN evolution, because that's what it is. We've just evolved into this naturally, organically. But in dedication to that evolution. In fact, that's probably what we should call the next event, the TNN evolution. Who knows? Let's think. But the next event, I think we need to pay homage, if you will, to this new chapter.
Definitely.
You know, we're going to be really leaning on you guys to help us sculpt and build this next event. What does it look like?
Yeah.
What do we want it to be?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to wait until January or February to be like, right, okay, I think we should get to work now. So you know, regionals and ambassadors are going to be leaning into you for information. We'll get maybe some data polling out to you, because we need to make sure we are evolving, and this is just going to be something that's different, new, and
we want to be a reflection of the industry. The industry is changing, like we always say. You know, it's changed so much since I joined, within the last 6 years even. So I think just us being a reflection of that change and not fitting into the box, like you're saying. We were talking earlier and just saying, you know, everyone does the same thing, and you know, feel like, oh, am I doing this right? It's like, I think when we were at Ramsey, Dr. Lee Walker, or Professor Lee Walker, sorry, saying, well, if you're doing that, then I'll just follow you. And I think kind of stepping out and seeing the change and representing the change at an event is what we need.
Yeah, absolutely. So we really need to shake things up. We need to get our thinking heads on and design something absolutely epic, and make sure that
of course we can do that.
We will totally do that. So yes, stay tuned, everyone. The TNN Evolution, the May event is just going to be insane.